Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Welcome back to Savor Life with Diana, and that's what we're doing today. We are here with Diana Bejasa, and she's our success coach, life coach, and she has many accolades, wears many hats as a mother and as a certified coach. She's helping people as a burn-through catalyst speaker, as an author, and so much more. How are you doing today, darling?
Oh, it's a beautiful Monday.
Beautiful Monday. We have to tell everyone where you are located, please. For those that don't know, make them jealous. Go ahead. Bring it on.
Yeah, I'm based in Honolulu, Hawaii, but I'm originally from New York City. So I know exactly where that background that you have is, Jill, but I'm really glad that I have my background.
Oh, man, and this is the fake one. I used to be in Manhattan, the city, working in the grind too. Now I'm not, but yeah, still out of New York. I get it. So you get a little bit of both life. It's like as a chef as well, because she's also a professional chef. I mean, you get a taste of everything, right? You had the taste of New York, now the taste of on life. And would you change it?
No, there's a lot that seemed bitter or like not like what I wanted on the way. But I'm really grateful for what I've been able to do with the challenges I've been handed, type of thing.
Beautiful. Well, thank you for being here. Excited that you're back. And for today, I know we have another great episode in store. And it's why doing your best isn't enough. That's today's topic. We're going to talk about that. And maybe she'll give us some pointers on what we should be doing instead. Go for it, Diana.
Yeah, well, so I think that a lot of times we may be saying to ourselves, I'm doing my best. But are we?
It's a good excuse sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes
Guilty.
I think that we want to just check ourselves and figure out are we actually being compassionate to ourselves, or are we just keeping ourselves stuck in our comfort zone? Because we don't want to allow something that is intended to give us grace to just give us a free pass to not reach our full potential. So a lot of times, right, especially for the type of clients that I work with, there's a high level of excellence. There's a lot that we've achieved. There's all these different things. And there can be this sense of complacency that begins to build where we're like, I've done enough. And I want to challenge that, because I think that sometimes that statement that we're doing our best, instead of just being a mantra that's intended to help us, can actually become a limiting belief. Because us doing our best, right? Does that mean that this is the ceiling for us, that this is as good as it's going to get, that we can't be better? I don't really believe that. I think that when we find ourselves doing our best, it's not a place for us to stop and say, okay, well, that's enough, but really a place for us to say, is there more expansion available to me? And I want to make the distinction too, that I'm not saying that your best is not enough.
True.
I'm saying that we just want to check ourselves, right? So again, I'm talking about this in a way where these are next level skills, right? If you struggle with self-compassion, completely, you don't know how to do any of it, you want to develop that skill. But you also, as you develop that skill, need to develop the nuance of am I really doing my best? Am I really doing enough? Or am I just doing as much as I know how to do right now? And is there more available to me? Because we don't want to use I'm doing my best as an excuse for not reaching the goals or the dreams or the things that we really want. So we just want to check on ourselves and say, is this me reaching my full potential, or am I settling for less than I really want?
God, it's so hard. It's so confusing. Everything we talk about, it's like I can see both sides. I see both ways. And then I'm like, limiting beliefs. Do we make limiting beliefs because we're scared, we're fearful of getting to a place that we think we can't have something can't have what our neighbor has or what our friend has. And it's like, is it? Oh gosh. Oh, it's my best. But okay. Go ahead.
Well, what it has to do with is a fear of loss of control and fear of a loss of an identity, right? Like especially for high achievers, we're used to being polished. We're used to things looking great, right? And all those kind of things. And for us to admit that there's space for us to grow puts us in a really messy space, right? So,
Yeah.
or like a lot of times, so for example, when I've worked with clients and they want to expand their business and, maybe they just want to expand nationally, maybe they just want to expand internationally. What's required to do that, to do more work, is a bigger team. And sometimes they're resistant to letting go of control of like, oh, well, I'm so used to doing this. I like it done this very specific way. And so like, I just can't let go of that. Right. And I see this sometimes. I've seen it even with chefs when they get really sick and burned out. Like I remember there was one restaurant that I visited where there'd been this story about how like the chef insisted on cutting every single piece of fish that walked into the restaurant. So it's like, does that mean that when you have a day off, nobody's eating fish? You know what I mean? Or does that mean that like if you were to go on vacation, there'd be no fish on the menu? You know what I mean? So like, I think that we got to look for where's this space for us to let go of control and instead get better at setting standards. So like even when I've worked with chefs and we designed first class meals for Delta One.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah. So, I'd work with these like Michelin starred chefs and they would want to serve their food on Delta One, but Delta One, out of JFK, it was typically the flights that were like transcontinental or the flights that were going international that we would serve their food. In order to do that, you can't be your cute little self like you can be when you're in a Michelin starred kitchen where you're the one who's putting like the little final touches on every single dish. You've got to delegate that away if you want to serve more people. So if we want to serve more people, right, like we can set standards, we can communicate better. So what I'm saying about this is that when we think that we're doing our best, when we've served as many as we can at this level, there is another level, but what is required a lot of times is an up-leveling of skills, right? So becoming a better leader, becoming better at communicating, becoming better at delegating, so that we can serve more, right? Because again, that Michelin starred chef, he's not the one who is on every single airplane, making sure that all the microgreens fall exactly where he wants them to, right? Like you gotta let go of some of that stuff because it's not going to be exactly what you want when it's your level of control. Because like a lot of times when you work in Michelin starred kitchens, there could be like 5 people working on one dish.
Yeah, right.
And so like you don't have that same level of control, right? You're working with LSG Sky Chefs, or you're working with a commissary kitchen, or you're working with flight attendants who also have to take drink orders.
Oh
and
gosh.
whose key role is safety. Their first role is safety. Their next is a guest comfort. Your food comes in there maybe like 3rd, 4th, or 5th if you're lucky. So you have to like figure out, okay, how can I make a menu that still meets my standards, right? How can I still continue to serve in my business, in my work, in ways that meet my standards, and really get clear on where are the places where I'm absolutely necessary and where I'm just exercising control.
Yeah. Oh, I don't like the control thing, but I get it. Some people are that way. I could imagine the people you're working with. I'm picturing these first class meals, like when, like, I don't even know what they are, but like the finishing touch, like the thyme, the rosemary, the things that you don't really eat. That's like the fancy little, or the little swirl of the whatever little thing on the side that you put like a yogurt or like I don't know what it is, but I mean, yes.
Yeah, and we want to control all that stuff, right? Like all those little flourishing touches that make us us and all that kind of stuff. But I think when I help my clients kind of move past that place of thinking I'm doing my best and really starting to see it as a limiting belief, you got to figure out and really think, okay, where are the places where I truly am irreplaceable? Not the things that I want to do, that I want to keep control over because then it just makes everything better. But like, where am I truly irreplaceable?
Yeah.
And focusing more on those places Because again, it's not a resource problem, it's a resource allocation problem. We
Yeah.
have enough. We have enough energy, we have enough time, and it's about, am I spending my time, am I spending my energy in places that are not really serving me, in places that are draining me as opposed to fulfilling me.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. And you say, oh my, well, there's still more to talk about, but compassion compared to the comfort zone, compared to, all right, go ahead.
Yeah. So again, there's this idea of I'm doing my best as something that lets you off the hook a little bit. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that I am, I mean, we've talked in past episodes about how like I'm not about drive, 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 right? Like it's not about just constantly push yourself. But when we're applying this exercise or the skill of compassion and rest and all that, we need to check in with ourselves on the other end, right? So
Yeah.
it's about having this balance of am I being compassionate or am I keeping myself stuck? Right. And so we want to like when we're doing healing, like that's part of the work, right? It's like it's this ebb and flow of healing and progress and all these different things. So we may have healed ourselves enough to be soft, but we also need to be honest, right? Like give yourself a minute just to land with that question. Like, am I really doing my best? And if it feels like an emphatic yes, like, yes, this is like my all out, everything I can do, like, then let that be. But if you feel another part of you that's like, you could be doing better, this is your best at this level, but part of it is maintaining an image. Part of it is you holding yourself back. Like, like just listen, because you know. I believe that we know. And so we just again, this is just an exercise in asking that question, right? So like ask yourself and find out. I'm not saying it's one or the other, because a lot of times we are doing our best, but growth does never feel like ease. It doesn't feel easy, right? Like a lot of times it feels like resistance. It feels like, oh man, I'm hitting up against a wall. It feels like I can't get any further. And there can be space to pause, but there's also space to lean in. And so the only way that we're going to know that is if we check in with ourselves. We check in with ourselves, see like, is this space for me to take a break or just to accept that this is what it is? Or am I unwilling to accept this? And do I really want to figure out how to move forward? And if we want to figure out how to move forward, sometimes the application is the same. Sometimes we're still taking a break, but we want to see, and then if we are still wanting to move forward, we want to take that break to next level, up level our skills, right? So I think of it like, I think we've talked about this before, but I think about it like driving a stick shift car or like a manual car. If you want to
We need
shift
to
into
talk
the
about
next
this.
gear,
Okay, how's your arms, by the way?
right?
Ah,
Much better.
okay, good.
But like if you want to shift car, like in your car, right? Like you need to take your foot off the gas. So sometimes the thing that you're doing is the same, maybe both ways. I'm doing my best, like whether it's I need a break or it's I need to shift into the next level. It looks the same. Maybe both ways we're taking our foot off the gas.
Yeah.
But in one situation, maybe we're taking our foot off the gas and then we're just reapplying a little bit more pressure again to keep ourselves coasting. But if you don't want to just coast, if you want to go faster, farther than you've ever been before, then you want to shift into the next gear. And you got to figure out, okay, that is that next level application of leadership skills, right? Like I work for BNI as a chapter success coach, Business Networking International Group. And a lot of times when I work exclusively with the executive leadership teams, and when I work with them, I always tell them, and I always remind myself when I'm in one of those roles too, like, I don't know how this role is going to grow you, but it's going to grow you as a leader. You're going to grow, you're going to grow your communication, you're going to grow your something, delegation, something, but like somehow this role is going to grow you. And that's what I believe is the opportunity that we have when we feel like we're just doing our best and things are not moving as much as we want. So again, it's like it's this understanding that real compassion is not going to allow us to shrink, right? It's not asking us to shrink. It's inviting us to stretch, right?
Yeah.
And Have you ever practiced yin yoga, Jill?
No, I don't even know what that is.
Okay.
What is that?
So it's a really, really soft form of yoga, right? So like instead of like moving from like one pose to the next pose and then the next pose and then the next, right? What you do is you actually hold poses.
Mm-hmm.
And you hold them for a really long time, like about 3 minutes. And the idea is that it gets into your like deeper muscles, your myofascia. It releases like bigger structures in your body because you're holding it. But when you do that, you actually don't want to stretch yourself to your absolute limit. You stretch yourself to like maybe 50 or 60%. And so I love this practice because for me, I think it's a lot about finding balance, right? Between stretching to your absolute limit where you're pushing yourself and stretching yourself enough to allow your body to open. And it's crazy because like you could be stretching your legs, for example, and you're just like standing with like your legs up and you're maybe your foot's on a strap and like you're just holding it and it doesn't even feel like it's a lot of work, but somehow like you're able to release all this tension in your muscles and like after the 3 minutes, even though it doesn't seem like you're doing a lot of work, you're actually able to like increase your range of motion. You find all this like freedom and flexibility in your legs. So the same is true when we're using um this like nuance of discernment to figure out how to stretch safely, right? Like stretching does not always have to be something where you're like pushing your body to the limit and like because actually a lot of times when you're doing that when you're stretching yourself and you're applying force, your body will naturally, to protect itself, what's it called? What's the word? Kind of like tighten back up because it doesn't feel safe in that stretch. So yin by contrast allows you to get into that stretch, but to do it in a really comfortable way and where the body actually naturally opens up as opposed to like, being pushed to open up.
Well, this is something. How do we describe this? I mean, it goes in every walk, every aspect of every life. So anyone listening can really empathize and relate to this conversation. And then people also want to know, well, how do we do it? How are we going to get better? How are we going to improve? And it is hard getting out of that, the day in, the day out, the mundane, the comfort zone, as you say.
Yeah.
And this is, by the way, I forgot because we've just been talking, but we're with Diana Bejasa. I always get to tell people we're already halfway through the Burn Through Catalyst coach speaker. That's who you're listening to today, live from Honolulu, Hawaii. She is world renowned and she can help you in so many different chapters of your life, whether it's new careers, whether it's boosting confidence, gaining energy, helping you through some of the tough times, even relationships. And she's joining us today and she can help you manifest your dreams as well. So we're talking about, doing your best and, well, why sometimes we say we're doing our best, but, maybe that's not enough. Maybe it's an excuse, which we'd be doing here instead. So, Diana, as we continue the conversation, we still have 10 minutes left. Let's talk more, towards the end goal, right? And that finish line. And, tell me the comparison with the finish line and the starting point and how and where we're going to go with this.
Yeah. So ultimately, we've done some self-love work and we're at a crossroads. To say I'm doing my best means that we've done a little bit of self-love work, right? We're learning to accept ourselves. We're learning to embrace the progress that we've made. And we get a choice. Do we let it be that? Or do we take ourselves farther? And it's a choice. Like you can stay where you are. You can do no more. You can just accept the comfort zone. You can accept the complacency of where you're at. But if you feel yourself drawn towards growing more, becoming more, using this as a stepping stone to your next level, you get to decide again if this is your finish line or your starting point. So your best, your current level, this is you're at your current capacity. You're not at your lifetime capacity.
Yeah.
This is a moment when you notice you're doing your best, right? Like for example, if you were to blow up a balloon, right? As much as you blew up the balloon right there, that is the best that you could do right there. That does not mean that's the best you could do ever. You can continue to stretch and blow up that balloon, right? So just because you are as stretched as you can be does not mean that cannot stretch more. It's simply a matter of calibration. So when it feels like we've tried everything, that's probably space for us to look at what we haven't tried yet, right? If we're really wanting to use this as the starting point, if we're really wanting to use this as a launching pad, as opposed to looking at it like a finish line. And a lot of times, right, like if you think about it, when we hit a wall, sometimes like we want to quit, we want to give up, we want to stop. And what I think is it's not something for us to tell us that we're necessarily done. It can mean it's actually time for us to explore our next edge, right?
Yeah.
And my big thing about this, about doing your best, is a lot of times people choose to put a period there where I think a comma belongs, right? Like, so yes, you are doing your best, and you get to decide if this is a period or a comma.
Oh.
Right? Because to
or
me,
a dot, dot, dot.
or a dot, 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 or an M dash, or whatever, whatever punctuation you like. But you get to decide if this is the end or just the beginning. And a lot of times when I've felt like I was stretched to my limit, where I couldn't do more, where there was just no way that I could continue forth the way that I thought, it seemed like I had more problems than I had solutions. And that's where I came up with my coaching program, the Infinite Solutions Formula. And the name is really, really intentional. I have a flyer for it here, actually. So this is a program that I developed because I tend to be really problem oriented. So it's easy for me to see problems, right? It's easy for me to see all the things that are not working, for me to feel like I'm at my limit. I've done my best, to see like all the things that are going wrong. But what I love about math, right? Because as much as I talk about dreams and all these different things, like I'm a practical person. And with that practicality, part of the reason why I love math is because math, any problem that you have, you simply apply a process to it and you'll find the solution. And that's exactly what the
same
infinite
solution. Yes,
formula
yes,
is,
yes.
right? Like it's like no matter what the problem that you're facing is, there is a solution. You just have to go through a process. So every time I come up with a problem, when I discovered I was getting a divorce while I was pregnant and going to be a single mom, when I felt burned out and overwhelmed, when I was facing my challenges about like public speaking, everything that I've ever overcome, when I saw issues with my relationship with my family and wanted to change that, like whatever issue it is, right? Like, and that's what I love about this idea of it being infinite, is that like there are so many solutions. There are, just because you found one way it doesn't work. Like I think there's a Thomas Edison quote where he says, I didn't fail 10,000 times. I found 10,000 ways that it didn't work. And all he needed to find was one that did, right? So that is the process that I have codified in the Infinite Solutions Formula, which is my signature course. It's a process that I take all my clients through to get out of where they are and into where they want to be. Because what I find is that once you've done it, it's just like a math problem. Once you've figured it out and done it one time, you can do it over and over and over again. So rather than this being your best and stopping here, this might call to you and be like, yeah, like, what if this was my launching point?
Yeah.
What if this is the place where I go and grow and like overcome issues that I didn't even know, like achieve dreams that I didn't even believe were real. And like, for me, that speaks really deeply to me, because when I was burned out and sick and I was working as a chef and I had chronic illness and autoimmune disease, I didn't think that there was any more.
No.
But when I learned, when I worked with my mentors, as I was forming this formula, since then I've become an international speaker, an author, like moved to Hawaii, like become a mom, like transform my relationship with my family, like transform my health, like where the things that were holding me back before don't hold me back in the same way. So what if, instead of this being your best what if your best right now isn't telling you can't do more, but is simply showing you your limitations, and your opportunity here, if you choose to take it, is to turn that into a small world, into a comfort zone that you grow past. It gets to be our choice.
Wow. Well, how can we, what are some of the things we should be doing? It's our choice, right? We want, we do, we think, but we never sometimes commit. You kind of push that stuff on the back burner about your goals and about getting where you want to go, changing what you want to change. And I can speak from experience. You can about not even the word thrill, but it's that heart, gut, soul of like, wow, it is powerful once you do it and it can be done and you're going to help us get there. But, for those out there struggling with the whole, but I'm not sure. I don't know. Maybe this is my best. Maybe these, maybe I can't. So here we go. Limiting beliefs make us stop from wanting more to working with someone to get more, to guide us. What would you say to that person listening today saying, well, this all sounds good. Diana, Jill, I like them, but I'm good. I'm happy where I am. Am I really? Come on, people, get with the program. And spring is here. And there's just something about spring in the air, Diana, that gets me going. I don't care where you live, even though she's in Hawaii, if you didn't hear that. But I don't know. There's an extra spring in my step, and I think most people's, because it's like the time of renewal. Even if you look at religion, whatever religion, it's a renewal season,
Yeah. So when you hear that voice that's saying, but I can't, but but I'm not sure, all those different things, you want to check that voice, because there are two voices in your head and they can sound really similar. One is the voice of your limiting beliefs that are keeping you small and stuck where you are. And one is a voice of expansion. And you got to listen and think like, is this voice keeping me where I'm at? Or is this voice supporting me? Like when you say I'm doing my best,
yep,
you're really doing your best.
Mm-hmm.
The voice that comes out is a voice of calm. It's like, yeah, I'm doing my best. There's a voice, there's like a sense for me of like satisfaction behind that knowledge of I'm doing my best.
Yeah.
But if I'm doing my best doesn't sit right with you, and it's accompanied by a voice that's like, oh, you see, there's this problem, there's that problem, there's this problem, that's why I'm doing my best. Those are excuses.
Totally.
And you can only have one. You can either have excuses or you can have results.
Mm-hmm.
And you get to choose. Like all of us get to choose. So at the end of your life, because I think about the end of my life like all the time, especially as a 9/11 survivor, what are you going to have? Are you going to have excuses or are you going to have results? And which one do you really want, right? Because as long as you let your excuses win, as long as you keep reinforcing them, I can't because of this, I can't because of that. I mean, I'm a single mom. Like, you know what I mean? I have a lot of excuses. I have a lot of reasons why I can't. And I've turned them into reasons why I will.
Wow.
So you get to decide,
Perfect.
Again, it's not that it's easy, but it's that it's worth it, right? Like, I think there's this thing I've seen before where people say, like staying stuck in your comfort zone is hard. Moving into your growth is also hard. You get to choose your hard. Which hard are you going to choose? And which one is the one that you're ultimately going to be more happy that you chose in the end? Perfect.
Beautifully said. Sorry, we are out of time, Diana. How do we contact you to get started and to, again, you can't hurt. Reach out. She's going to give you a free consultation just to talk. Just do it. Nothing to lose.
Diana Bejasa Speaks, Diana Bejasa, Bejasa Speaks at Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, or you can find my website, www.savorlifewithdiana.com. That's SAVOR, life, LIFE, with Diana, DIANA.com.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Pleasure having you here. As always, great seeing you, and beautiful day, beautiful conversation, and enjoy it and love it and own it. And everyone out there the same, wishing you the best. Time to get, better and to really do your best. All right. Thank you again, Diana. Have a fantastic day. Great chatting, as always.
I do.
Bye, darling.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down,
It's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.